This is my commercial real estate conundrum of all time. Have you wondered why these retail single family vacant deals are so cheap? It's typically one of the former, either vacant bank or fast food restaurant or daycare or just another business went dark. Some of them are actually very decent looking properties in pretty densely populated areas, and many of them are selling at 10 to 20 cents on the dollar if you compare it to replacement cost. So why we don't see a ton of buyers jumping on them? Let me share about a 15,000 square foot deal on almost half an acre site that I bought for $775,000 in January 2021. It was an automotive property on 5805 South Archer Avenue in Chicago. On paper, at $52 a foot, it looked amazing. It's right next to Midway Airport. Approximately 20,000 cars pass daily on Archer Avenue. Within 2 miles, average household income was $83,000, and population within 2 miles was a little over 80,000. Now, I've got this deal from a direct mail campaign that I did for industrial buildings, and just somehow this retail automotive property ended up on that list. Now, seller Bob called me, we met his property. He was running AOK Automotive in his building for over 30 years, but really was going to shut down the business. He wanted confidential sale, and really he wanted to close in 90 days. After that, he would lease the property for 6 months and then pretty much would leave. So in other words, I was really buying an empty box. Now, lease comps for this type of buildings in the area were right around $8 to $12 triple net, and they traded when they full north of $100 a foot. Now, another thing, what I did, I looked up brokers for QSR and automotive leases that happen within 10 miles and in the last 3 years. And the feedback I got that automotive would be in really demand if I would be able to cut up the building into smaller units. Now, for national QSRs, my site was too small. They typically need at least 1 acre site. With all this information though, I felt safe to close and move forward with the deal. And we've closed with a hard money lender. We put 20% down. It was 11% interest only, no, 2 points, and we had 12 months to pay back or refinance it. Right after the closing, I met with Bob's general manager, Ricardo, who was also the main mechanic, and he showed an interest in leasing the property for me. One problem though, he did not have enough cash to buy Bob's remaining equipment, and he did not have enough operating cash to operate the business. But I put the deal together. And the way I put it, I bought remaining equipment from Bob for $25,000, and I end up financing at $2,000 a month to Ricardo on the back end. And also, we've written a 10-year lease at $7 triple net with 3% bumps. Though it took almost 6 months to put this lease together and finally sign. Now, during that time, I had to make a few improvements. I replaced half of the roof, and we had to do some tuck pointing. So approximately we spent $80,000 on improvements. Now, in the next 6 months, the lease has seasoned, and I was able to refinance this deal with a Heartland Bank, and we were able to take out 90% of our basis. In another year, I've listed the property on the market for $1.4 million with Marcus Millichap, but the offers we got were there approximately in $1.2 million range, and it did not sell. Now, we had a provision that if the deal will be bought by our tenant, we don't have to pay the commission. So after they did not trade it, we end up actually selling that building to our tenant at 1.2. And Ricardo financed this deal with a SBA loan from the same bank, Heartland Bank, which actually was my introduction as well. So we've made $338,000 in profit on this deal, which took 2.5 years to complete it. All said and done, I'm really happy that the local business did not shut down, and I was able to sell the building at a fair price. No doubt, $338,000, that's a lot of money. But given the time, complexity, and pretty much opportunity cost, there are many easier deals for me. This deal was just outside of my normal wheelhouse because I usually do multi-tenant industrial deals. Now, on the positive side of this business model is that there is so much less competition. If I would do it again, I would only if I were buying many deals at once, and it would be either a portfolio deal or I would be able to acquire those deals in some sort of portfolio. And pretty much I would operate it as one deal, like a one building, for example, with 10 tenants, which those tenants are different locations. For example, 7 will be fully leased, 1 is in the renewal, and 2 vacant that you're renovating. Those are heavy lifts. In this way, it would be no problem to carry the vacant units from the pretty much cash flow from existing portfolio, and we could focus on acquisition and leasing just specifically on those type of deals and build the systems around it. And here are the steps I would use to find these deals. I will build a list of buildings up to 15,000 square feet on half an acre to 2 acre sites in really dense urban areas owned by owner users, which have purchased buildings 15 plus years ago. And obviously the thought behind it is that will be looking for the businesses that are exiting the business, because there is so many businesses that are being sold. They're just being shut down and owners are selling the buildings and they moving on to Florida or whatnot. And also on that list, I would remove all national credit tenants because typically we're not going to be able to buy from them at the value add prices. And I would do an old school direct mail campaign. I bet you would be the only one letter in that mailbox with an offer to buy, as opposed to, let's say, many dozens if you're chasing industrial or apartment deals. So here are my takeaways. If you're in the beginning of your career, I would really stay away from these type of deals. Once you own 10 to 20 these type of deals, or you buy them at once, I think it could be a really great model. It really, when it comes down to, is that you can master anything, but you can't master everything. To remove all the friction and to get some sort of scale, you really need to zoom in and focus on that specific deal or specific type of the deal. So that's the video. Hopefully I brought some value to you. If you like it, please subscribe, share it with your colleagues, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you, guys.